By the end of World War II, the jet age had already begun. Aircraft like the Me-262 were showing the world what the future of aviation looked like. But while engineers were racing towards jet propulsion, one aircraft pushed piston-engine technology further than anyone thought possible. It had 2 engines, 2 propellers, and nearly the speed of a jet. This was the Dornier Do 335, the fastest piston-engine fighter of the war, and it might be one of the strangest aircraft ever built. I'm Bill, and this is Buffalo Air Park. Let's dive in. Officially, the aircraft was called the Pfeil, meaning arrow, a fitting name for something this fast. But pilots rarely care about official names. They took one look at the long, narrow nose and towering landing gear and gave it a much more honest nickname, a Meisenbear, the Anteater. And once you see it, it's hard to argue with them. The Do 335 used what's known as the push-pull configuration. One engine sat in the nose, pulling the aircraft forward. Another engine sat buried deep inside the fuselage, driving a propeller behind the tail. The idea came from aircraft designer Claude Dornier, who had patented the concept back in 1937. His goal was simple: get the power of 2 engines without the drag of mounting them on the wings. Traditional twin-engine aircraft have a problem called asymmetric thrust. Lose one engine, and the aircraft wants to yaw violently towards the dead side. In the Do 335, both engines sat along the center line. If one failed, the airplane simply kept flying straight, only slower. Before committing to a full-size fighter, Dornier built a small experimental aircraft called the Gerpian Go-9. It was essentially a scaled test platform designed to prove the rear propeller concept would actually work, and it did, which encouraged Dornier to scale up the idea into something far more ambitious. The Do 335 was enormous for a fighter. Its tall tricycle landing gear allowed a person to walk beneath the fuselage without ducking, something almost unheard of for Luftwaffe fighters at the time. But that size allowed it to carry 2 powerful Daimler-Benz DB603 engines, the largest inverted V12 engines Germany produced during the war. The result was staggering performance. Top speed reached about 474 miles per hour, making it the fastest piston-engine aircraft of World War II. Even the legendary British test pilot Eric Winkle-Brown was impressed. After flying the aircraft, he said it gave him what he described as a comforting feeling of being overpowered, which is a very British way of saying, this thing was extremely fast. But the design introduced a serious problem. There was now a propeller spinning directly behind the pilot. In most aircraft, if things went wrong, the pilot could simply bail out. In the Do 335, doing that would send you directly into the rear propeller. So the engineers devised an elaborate solution. Before the pilot ejected, explosive bolts would first blow off the rear propeller and dorsal fin. Only then could the pneumatic ejection seat fire safely. It was one of the earliest production aircraft to include such a system, a dramatic solution to a very unusual problem. The Do 335 arrived a little late in the war and saw little combat, but one encounter became famous. In April 1945, French ace Pierre Clostermann spotted a Do 335 flying at treetop level while leading a flight of Hawker Tempests. The Tempest was one of the fastest piston fighters in the world, but when the German pilot opened the throttle and accelerated away, Clostermann chose not to pursue. He later wrote that the Dornier was obviously much faster. The German aircraft simply disappeared. Despite its incredible speed, the aircraft was complex. After the war, captured Do 335s were flown by Allied test pilots. During one British test flight in 1946, the rear engine caught fire. Because the control cables ran past the engine, the flames burned through the elevator controls. The aircraft crashed, killing the pilot and the passenger. It was a tragic reminder that the design's complexity came with risks. Today, only one Dornier Do 335 remains. It sits in the Smithsonian's Udvar Hazy Center in Virginia. But even that aircraft has an incredible story. In the 1970s, it was sent back to Germany for restoration at the Dornier factory. When technicians began disassembling it, they discovered something alarming. The explosive charges used to jettison the tail and rear propeller were still installed. They were still alive. For nearly 30 years, the aircraft had been sitting quietly in storage with active explosives hidden inside. German engineering, apparently very reliable. The Dornier Do 335 arrived too late to change the war. Jets were already reshaping aviation. But, for a brief moment, it showed just how far piston-engine technology could go. 2 engines, 2 propellers, nearly the speed of a jet. A remarkable machine from the very end of the propeller era. And that wraps up another tale from aviation's stranger side. Until next time, keep your eyes on the skies.